One and all. This is Monica Irella from TTWRDC Women's Mood. As a part of online lecture presentation program, I would like to present a topic on sericulture. Here, the sericulture plays a key role in employment generation. It is also helpful for the students of applied zoology. Now I would like to present various aspects of sericulture, types of silkworms and types of cultivation, and the production and shares will be discussed. Coming to our topic, sericulture. Sericulture is a science which deals as a part of science or branch of science which deals with the rearing or activity of silkworms for the production of silk from silkworms. Such type of phenomenon is known as sericulture. Here, the sericulture derived from a word, from a Greek word serikos. Serikos means silk producing, which means seri means silk, kos means culture, which means the culturing of silk producing organisms, such are called as sericulture. Here, in fact, the sericulture provides an immense scale of rearing of silk producing organisms in order to obtain silk. The silk is secreted by the silkworms from silk gland. Here, the interesting topic of this silk gland is the modification gland of salivary glands of silkworm. Here, the silk fibers are consisting of two types of proteins, namely fibrin and sericin. Here, the composition of the silk fiber is consisting of 80% of fibrin proteins and 20% of sericin proteins. In the world production, China is the first ranking in producing the silk, and India is the second largest producer of silk after China. In our India, we are the largest consumers of silk in worldwide. In India, Karnataka is the largest producer of silk. In India, produce all type of varieties of silkworms like domesticated silkworms and non-domesticated silkworms, which means domesticated silkworms are reared under conditions and produce silk in the form of silk gland. Here, there are two types of that. One is domesticated, another one is non-domesticated. The example of these domesticated silkworms are Bombax mori, which belongs to the family Bombaxidae. Okay. And the non-domesticated silkworms, which are also called as Vanyas silkworms, which means they are not cultivated, or they are unable to cultivate it or cultured or reared under certain conditions. So that's why they are lived in wild type of worms, which means the examples of these wild type silkworms are Tassa, Muga, Erie silkworms. Here, almost all the species of silkworms of Bombax mori are widely used for producing silk. Why? Because of this Bombax mori is a multi-oltern races. Multi-oltern. What is meant by olternism? The olternism is a phenomenon of the organism which produce a number of generations for their surveillance, for their number of generations, how they are transferring genes for multiple purpose, for producing their offspring. Such type of phenomenon is called as olternism. Olternism is nothing but the number of generations which occurred by the organism, produced by these organisms. This Bombax mori is a multi-oltern organisms. Okay, and the silk is known as queen of textiles, and it is also called as biosteel because of the strength of this silk. Next, coming to Mori culture. Mori culture is a phenomenon in which the organism, the silkworms, feed on mulberry plants for their feeding purpose. So, we have to cultivate the mulberry plants for the purpose of silk production, which means the Mori culture is a phenomenon of mulberry cultivation to rear the silkworms for obtaining silk production. And the Bombaxi Mori feeds especially on white mulberry leaves, which means Morus alba plants. Here the history of silk. Here the history of silk is consisting of a special Chinese tale which we are studied in our olden tales. A Chinese olden tale discovery of tells about the discovery of silkworms. Silk was by the ancient empress Li Zhu, the wife of emperor, and she was drinking a tea under a mulberry tree. When she is drinking the tea, suddenly a cocoon fell into her hot tea cup, and the hot tea is loosened the cocoon silk stand will be loosened the silk thread fibrings, and she picked out the cocoon and wrapped around her fingers. Slowly she felt warm sensation. When the worm ran out from this cocoon. She saw the small larva and she realizes that the caterpillar larva is was the source of silk, and she taught this to the people and it became widespread, which means and here China is origin of sericulture. The Chinese lady Zili, she is the mother of sericulture, who invited the mystery of silkworm cocoons accidentally, and it is said to be discovered of the silkworms at the 300 BC, and of the art of the silk production was secrets up to 2000 BC, and trading of the silkworms was the through the Silk Road at that time. By about 300 AD, the sericulture has spread to India from Korea. In 1857, the silk industry is suffered with pebrine disease. At that times, almost the silk production industry will be fall down or destroyed in European countries. At that time, Louis Pasteur conducted several experimentations on these silkworms and discovered that these mother moths are the sources for the pebrine disease spreading throughout the world. By his experiments, he got the name of father of sericulture. Here I would like to present a small video about a history of sericulture. In this video, we will going to discuss about
silk is one of the most prized fabrics in the world. Most people love to wear silk apparels on special and auspicious occasions. Silk is obtained from silkworms, which are cultured on commercial scale to obtain silk. But have you ever wondered that how this fiber was discovered 5,000 years back by the mankind? According to an old Chinese legend, silk was discovered by a Chinese empress. She found some white worms eating up the leaves of the mulberry trees in her garden. She noticed that worms were spinning shiny cocoons around them. She collected some of those cocoons. Accidentally, one of the cocoons dropped into her cup of tea. She noticed that the cocoon was actually made from a long thread that was both strong and soft. In this way, the fiber of silk was discovered, but Chinese guarded the secret of silk for over 1,000 years. Afterwards, traders and travelers introduced silk to various parts of the world. Silk was introduced in India about 1900 years ago. The story of its introduction is related to a Chinese princess who married an Indian prince. She was very fond of silk fabric and therefore she brought silkworm eggs to India in her headdress and fed them with the leaves of Indian mulberry trees, initiating the silk production in India. Currently, world's production of silk is estimated to be around 1,25,000 metric tons per year. China holds top position with production of about 80% of the world's silk. India is also a leading producer, accounting for 10% of the world production. India is the world's second largest producer and consumer of silk and its products.
Thank you. Coming to our topic, and the Silk Road. The Silk Road was world's largest trade route between the eastern China and Mediterranean Sea. The silk is valuable commodity in those times was transported along this road. This China was the first to start the sericulture and the cultivation of silkworms spread throughout China soon. And today China and India are main producers. The two countries are main producers together, manufacturing about more than 60% of world production each year. Here the silk was exported along the Silk Road, ancient trade route linking China and Roman Empire. This trade route brought the China's great wealth, but the Chinese didn't give away the secret on how the silk was produced. And here the some of the methods of Chinese sericulture processes. First one is mulberry leaves placed on trees, which means it is a way of tray rearing mechanism, which means here the bamboo trays are used for the cultivation of these worms, rearing of tree worms. And the second one is twig frames for the silkworms are prepared, which means here the bamboo frames are used for the cultivation or rearing of these silkworms. Here the third one is cocoons are weighed, which means after the cocooning process they are sort out the cocoons and they are weighing the cocoons and for the pupal and as well as thread weight. And here the cocoons are soaked and the silk wounds on spools, which means here the cocoons are soaked in hot water and they are reeled into silk fibers. Here in our India, Aryans discovered the silkworms in Himalayan regions. The silk from Kashmir to Bangalore was exported to European markets during the 14th and 15th centuries. The Tipu Sultan of Mysore laid a foundation in Mysore for this production of silk in Mysore. In 1771, Chinese silkworms are introduced in India to improve the quality of cocoons, which means the quality of cocoons will be improved by the racial with the copulation of this Chinese silkworm breed with Indian silkworm breed. Then we'll get the hybridized races to produce a more luxurious silk or lustrous silk for the silk production. In 1717 to 1775, Italian methods of rearing was introduced by the East India Company, which means East India Company introduced the various methods of sericulture, which means various methods of rearings. In one of the method is Italian rearing method. In 1942, the Sericulture Board conduct a silk conference at Delhi and silk expansion scheme to meet the requirement of parachute cloth, which means here the paramilitary and as well as East Indian companies are improvising the silk industry for their purpose of exportation and as well as parachute cloth requirements. In 1947, Central Silk Board is established. In 1963, CSTRI at Mysore. Okay. Here CSTRI means Central Sericulture Trade Research Institute at Mysore was established. In 1964, Tassa Research Station is established. The regional research stations are established in Salem, Trivandrum, Anantapur, Kollegial and Bangalore, Mazda, Pampere at that time, 1964. What is silk? The silk is the vein of textile industry which spells luxurious elegance and class comfort. The mankind always loved this shimmering fiber and parlor gravure, and it withstand many negating challenges from other natural and artificial fibers. Here it is a symbol of royalty. How can we identify the natural silk? Sometimes artificial silk are sold out in the name of natural silk. It can be easily detected with the simple burning test, which means if we burn that silk fiber, it gives a smell. It is not natural silk, which means natural silk will not produce any type of smell during the burn. Here the some of the terminology we would like to discuss in these technical terms associated with silkworm culturing, which means silkworm rearing. Voltanism. Voltanism means it is a classical reference or referring of number of life cycles as per year, which means the number of generations produced by the organisms depending upon the typical silkworms nature, which means uni and bivoltine and trivoltine or multivoltine races which produce a number of generations for the development of the organisms. Generations are called as voltanism. DFLs is nothing but disease free laying, which means a group of eggs are laid by the moth which has been certain disease free, and normally it is consisting of 200 healthy eggs. After the emergence from the cocoon, the male moth immediately copulates with female moth. After the period of 24 to 36 hours, female moth lays eggs about in 3 batches, and these eggs are cleaned and washed, examined under microscope for the disease specifically from pebrine disease. After the batch is certified, the disease free, then only they are used for the rearing field, which means DFLs are nothing but the clear examined disease free eggs are called as DFLs, which means chalky worm rearing. Chalky worm rearing is nothing but the initial eggs from the initial egg stage to third instar, which means third larval stage, are called as chalky worm rearing. Here the chalky worm rearing is consisting of 1 week larval to 4th stage larva. Okay, Pebrine. Pebrine is a silkworm disease which is caused by the Microsporidium parasite, mainly caused by Nosema bombaxis. Okay. And here dipause cocoons. Dipause cocoons are nothing but the pupa sets inside the cocoon and goes into the hibernation or dipause stage, which means the hibernation state. After the 15th star, the larvae go for dipause stage, and which secrete the silk around their body, and the body becomes pupal stage. Such type of losing of their characters and go for a hibernation period. Such type of stage is called as dipause stage. Grainages. The process of eggs making in the layman's called as grainages. It involves in the storage of eggs, facilitating the male and female copulation, washing, cleaning of eggs, and disease checking will be takes place in the grainages. Here, molt. Molt is nothing but molding phases are nothing but costing of skin, and it is also called as ecdysis, which means after the silk life cycle is consisting of 45 to 50 days. During this process, the organism shades the skin. At that time, that the costing of skin for the development is called as molting. Okay. Echo-rays. Due to the climatic conditions and country variations, to adapt the local conditions have to evolve the distinct echo races. For example, Daba and Molt, Modal and Raleigh, Loia, Tassar simplified. Similarly, in case of Tassar, mulberry echo races are developed in the central silk board to get the maximum productivity of particular area, which means echo zones. And in particular areas, they produce particular type of organism like Antheracia assamensis, which is Muga silkworms are only produced in the Assam states, Assam and Nagaland. Here, Voltonism. Voltonism refers to the number of generations as per year due to the hormonal genetical characterization under hormonal control. Here it is divided into three types: univoltine, bivoltine and multivoltine. Here the univoltine races are produced one generation per year. Here multivoltine races are producing two generations per the year. Multivoltine races are gives more than 3 generations per year. Such type of voltants are called as multivoltine races. And various types of silkworms are there in our sericulture. They are nothing but domesticated silkworms and non-domesticated silkworms, which means the mulberry silkworms are called as domesticated silkworms. Tassar, Muga, Erie, Oak, Jain silkworms are called as wild type or Vanya sericulture, which means they are non-domesticated. They are not unable to rear under the rearing conditions or rearing room. And here there is a specific species are there. Here we are going to discuss. If we observe this is mulberry silkworm. This is tassar silk larva and tassar moth, mother moth. Here it is oak tassar. This is white larva is called as Erie silkworm, and it is Muga. Muga silkworms are only present in the Assamensis region. Here there are 4 types, but in these cultivation, as per the cultivation and as well as major source types and commercial types, they are consisting of various types of silkworms, which means there are 5 types based on their food habituations and the number of food plants and the variety of conditions and ecozones. They are categorized into 5 types. They are mulberry silkworms, tussar silkworms, oak tussar silkworms, Erie silkworms, and Muga silkworms. Mulberry silkworms. The bulk of commercial silk produced in the world comes from the variety of these mulberry silkworms. These mulberry silkworms mulberry silk comes from the mulberry silkworm, which is nothing but namely Bambaxi mori, which is solely feeds on mulberry plants, Morus alba. In India, major mulberry silk producing states are Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Jammu and Kashmir, which together accounts 92% of country's total mulberry raw silk production. Here tussar silks. This tussar is generally called as Antheria mellicha, which mainly thrives on the plants of Terminalia asan and Terminalia arjuna plants. They are less lustrous than mulberry silk, but it has own feel and appear. This tussar silks mainly produced in the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, besides Maharashtra, West Bengal, and Andhra Pradesh, Telangana regions, which is nearby river basin areas. The tussar culture is mainly stay for many tribal communities in India. Why? Because of these tussar worms are lived on asan and as well as Terminalia arjuna and Terminalia katapa plants, which are the sources which are present in the river basin areas like Godavari and as well as Krishna Delta regions. And the oak tussar means it is the finest variety of tussar silkworms, the name as Antheria foeli, and in India they feeds on the natural plants of oak. They are found in abundance the sub-Himalayan regions of Indian, covering states like Manipur, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir. China is the major producing of oak tussar in the world, and this comes from the another silkworms which is known as Antheria feni. Erie silkworms. It is also known as Erendi silkworms, Indi silkworms. Erie silk is produced by the domesticated silkworm like Philosomia resini. They feeds mainly on resinous communicous plants, which is nothing but castor plants. Agriculture is a household activity which is practiced mainly for the protein-rich pupae and delicacy for the tribal community. This silk is used for indigenously for the preparation of chadars for the own uses by these tribals. In India, this culture of practice is mainly in northeastern states and Assam. It is also found in Bihar, West Bengal, and Odisha. Here there is various types of silk fibers are observed in this slide. If you observe the white color silk fibers, which is produced by mulberry silkworm, and brown color here is, if we observe this brown color, Muga silkworm, and here luscious tussar silk the golden color is consisting of Erie silkworms. Okay, here in this slide we are going to discuss about different types of mulberry plants and the scientific names and the hosting plants are which state is producing this. First, mulberry silkworms are white colored silkworms. The scientific name of this family is and they are coming from the family Bambacidae. The scientific name of this mulberry silkworm is Bambaxi mori. They feeds on the mulberry plants for their feeding activity. Complete their feeding activity. They are mainly producing by the states of Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. In this Tropical tussar and oak tussar is uh, produced by, sorry, the scientific names of these two tussars are Antheracia millita, Antheria millita and Antheria prolini, which belongs to the family Saturnidae. And the host plants are Terminalia catappa and Terminalia arjuna, asan, salt plants for tropical tussar. And in this oak tussar silkworms are feeds on oak plants. They are present in the sub-Himalayan belt regions. Tropical tussar is present in Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, river basin areas, especially. Eri silkworms. Eri silkworms are belongs to the family Saturnidae. Here the Somias cynthia. Somias cynthia is the scientific name of this Eri silkworms. The host plant is Ricinus communicus, the castor plant. It is present in producing northeastern states, Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha. Muga silkworms, golden yellow colored silkworms. They are also called as golden yellow colored silkworms. Antheraria assamensis, which also belongs to the family Saturnidae. They are feeds on salt plants, which is present in the Assam region. The systematic position of these silkworms are: they belongs to the phylum Arthropoda, the class Insecta, and the order Lepidoptera, and the family Bambacidae. The life cycle of mulberry silkworm. Here the adult Bambaxi morae about 2 to 5 centimeter, 2.5 centimeters in length. 2 to 5 centimeters in length and in nature. In this moth is unisexual in nature and the very short life. It is consisting of very short lifespan of 2 to 3 days. And the fertilization is internal and produced by the copulation. Just after the emergence of male and females are copulated together within 2 to 3 days, which means the fertilization is internal fertilization takes place, and the male and female moths are undergoes copulation process, and after the copulation process 24 to 26 hours the female mother moth lays eggs on egg coat, and here the female start egg laying, which completed within 1 to 24 hours. One moth lays about 400 to 500 eggs, depends on the climatic conditions and temperature. The newly hatched caterpillar is about 0.3 centimeters in length, and it is in pale yellowish whitish color, which means bluish color. And the 12th it is consisting of 11 segmented, and the abdominal region is consisting of 11 segments. Thoracic region is consisting of 3 segments, and the head region is consisting of 6 segments. Here the body is composed of 3 regions. One is head region, second one thoracic region, third one abdominal region. Here the worms are having, these worms are consisting of 3 regions. One is head region, another one is thoracic region, third one is abdominal region. And this head region is consisting of 6 segments, and the thoracic region is consisting of 3 segments, and head region consists of 6 and thoracic region consisting of 3, and the abdominal region is consisting of 11 segments in the body. Here the 12 segmented structures present in on the abdominal region has 5 pairs of pseudolegs, and the thoracic region is consisting of 3 segmented body is consisting of 3 pairs of pseudo legs. They are the true legs, and the head region is consisting of eye spots, and as well as bristle like structures. The newly hatched larva is consisting of bristles and nodules, and it is looks like a black ant. Such newly hatched larva is called as kego, which means kego. After the first and second, third, fourth molting, caterpillars get changed into second, third, fourth instars respectively. Instars are nothing but the stages in between the molting. Molting is a process of costing of skin for the development of organisms. It takes about 21 to 25 days of hatching. The full grown larva is obtaining the length of 5 to 7 centimeters. There in the 15th star, the larval forms are modifying their salivary glands into silk glands. By stopping feeding activity, they undergoes pupation stages. Here these silkworms are voracious feeders which mainly feeds on mulberry leaves. Okay, then coming to our in later stages, there undergoes pupation. Here in this diagram we would like to discuss about the life cycle of silkworm, mulberry silkworm. Here there are 4 stages in the life cycle of silkworm. One is kego stage, which is nothing but newly hatched stage, egg stage, kego stage, larval stage. Larvas are consisting of 2 types of nature. One is chalky larvas. The newly hatched larvas to 4 pin star larva. Such type of rearing methods are known as chalky worm rearing. From the 4th and 15th star larva rearing is called as late age worm rearing. After this late age worm rearing, which means 15th star larva, the larva stops feeding activity and there itself produce the silk around the body and it becomes pupa. This pupa is consisting of poorly developed eye spots and as well as mouth parts, and this pupa is consisting of sexual dimorphism, which means the female organisms are consisting of X marking for the sex determination and the male organisms are consisting of dot like structure for the sexual identification. Here the pupal stages are consisting of consisting of head, thoracic and abdominal regions, and here it is consisting of 2 eye spots and a pair of antennae and vestigial mouth parts are present in this pupa stage. It is non-functional in stage, and here the thoracic region is consisting of 2 pairs of wing birds, and it is all those they are consisting of a broad structure of female and thin structure of male organism. Here the male organisms, the female pupa is larger than male, and here the sexual marking is takes place in that organisms. Next, egg stage. Egg is the first stage of silkworm's life cycle, and the female moth lays eggs about the size of ink dot during the summer or early fall. Here this Bambaxi mori silkworms are consisting of producing 400 to 500 eggs per day, and these eggs are oval in shape and they are having the flatted end structures attached to the substratum, and the eggs are surrounded by the 3 membranes. They are namely outer chorionic layer and inner serosa layer, middle vitelline layer is present in these eggs, and these three layers are helpful for the protecting activity for the egg of silkworm. And here this Korean region is helpful for the protection, and as well as it feeds on organisms. And this Korean region is consisting of two layers, namely exokorean layer and as well as endokorean layer. Endokorean layer is made up of chitin layer, and exoskeleton layer is consisting of Korean layer, and here endokoreanic layer is consisting of a main layer, which means it is consisting of a respiratory canal which is called as spinnerets. These spinnerets are useful for the respiration activity in the egg stage. Here the anterior end is consisting of a opening is called as micropyle. In this eggs of Bambaxi mori, very small and hard structures about the size of a pinhead and resembles in the poppy seeds, and the eggshell provides the protecting covering of embryonic development. First they are laid, and egg looks like a light yellow color. A fertile ovum darkens to the blue gray within few days. Here this slide shows about the initial process. After the copulation process, the mother moths are laying eggs. This slide shows the clear vision of eggs. This yellowish colors structures are called as eggs. Next, coming to the structure of this egg is consisting of a vitelline membrane. These are centrolicital eggs, and since the yolk is concentrated at the center of the egg, and the cytoplasm and plasma on the surface of these thin layers, the cytoplasm is called as periplasm in these organisms. Next, the next stage is after the hatching of these eggs, the larva is consisting of a small ant-like structure which is consisting of bristles and nodules on the surface of the organism. Such type of organism, after hatching from the egg, the newly hatched worm is called as kego. And this newly hatched larva undergoes molting process, which means casting of the skin. The process of casting of the skin is called as molting stages, and this the stages in between the molds are called as instar. Here the silkworm is consisting of 5 molting stages and 4 instar stages in their life cycle. And here the larva body is consisting of 3 regions. One is head region, and second one is here if we observe in this slide, the organism is consisting of head region, thoracic region and abdominal region. Here the breathing holes are called as spinnerets. From in the head region, they are consisting of 6 segments. In the thoracic region, we will observe the 3 segments. In the abdominal region, we will observe the 11 segments. Here the head is consisting of mouth parts like labium, mandibule and maxilla labium. Here the mouth parts are consisting of spinneret. The mouth parts are useful for the cutting of mulberry plants and mulberry leaves. And the thoracic region is divided into 3 segments. They are prothoracic region, mesothoracic region and metathoracic region. This thorax region contains 3 pairs of legs, they are true legs. The abdominal is consisting of 5 pairs of prolegs, which means the abdominal region is consisting of 11 segments. In that 11 segments, 5 pairs of prolegs are present. In the posterior end of the worm is consisting of a caudal horn-like structure, a horn-like structure which is present in the posterior end of the organism. That type of posterior end is called as caudal horn. At the dorsal side, the body is consisting of 9 pair of respiratory openings, are nothing but breathing holes, which is observed in this slide. They are called as spiracles. One pair is present in the thoracic region, and another 8 are present in the abdominal region. Here next, the pupation stage. Pupation stage is nothing but after the 5th instar, the larva stops feeding and participating in the activity of spinning activity. Spinning means the spoons are producing filaments like structures to cover their body to form cocoon. In this pupal stage, all the silkworms prepare pupates and the spins protective cocoons. The silk cocoon serves as the protection of pupa. This cocoon shades in the white and creamish, yellowish, golden and brown colors in order to the silkworm races. After the final molt, inside the cocoon, the larva develops into the brown chitin. Observed the structure is called as pupa. This pupa is consisting of metamorphical changes resulting in the larval stages. Here the silk cocoons are fully get changes in the metamorphic of pupa resulting in the emergence of moth. Here the silkworms are allowed to mature and break through the cocoon. The silkworms would be rendered useless for the commercial purpose. After the moth emergence, these cocoons are not reliable. So that's why they are commercially not useful for the production of silkworms. At the end of the silk, then located in the cocoon, unwound into the spindles, they made into thread. This slide shows about how the worms are constructing the cocoon around the body by their salivary gland modification, by the silk gland modifications. And here in these pupal stages, they are not feed for they are not go for feeding activity. They are non-motile organisms. At that time, they lives in the cocoon. Cocoon is a state it is in the dipole state, which is present in the home-like structure, which means they are takes rest in that cocoon. They are covered with cuticle and is consisting of this pupa consisting of 3 regions like head, thoracic and abdominal region. They are consisting of antennae and vestigial mouth parts. They are non-functional due to the metamorphical changes. And here the thoracic region is consisting of wing birds, 2 pairs of wing birds and 3 pairs of limb birds, which means they are helpful for after the moth emergence. At the time they are modified as wings. Okay, abdominal segments are consisting of 11 segments. In that 9 segments are provided with the spiracles, which means the respiratory holes are present in the 9 segments. Next, female pupa is larger than male, and the abdominal marking is present in each pupa for their sexual determination. In this female, X mark is posted or posterior end of cocoon. Posterior end of the pupa is consisting of X marking. Such type of organisms are considered under female organisms or female pupa, and the dot like marking is present in the Last region are pupal abdominal regions. Such type of worms or pupal are called as male pupa. Here the cocoon. Cocoon is a commercially important plays important role in the larva. In these stages, in which the organism spins silk threads around it and to protect from the predators. The cocoon stage, which larva spins silk threads around it and protect itself from the outside environment. The color of the cocoons vary depends on the one races to another races. It can be ranges from white to golden yellow color. The second molting occurs inside the cocoon when the larva is turned into the brown pupae, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for pupa to metamorphosis into adult moth. And here the silk and the cocoon is consisting of treated with and here the cocoon is treated with hot water to obtain silk relays or silk filaments. And this cocoon layer is consisting of round or oval shaped structures. They are consisting of silk filament structure. They are economically valuable, and they are made up of long fibrin and sericin substances. The weight of this shell, it varies from one races to another races. The cocoon stage completes within 10 days. After the full maturation of these activities, the mother moth emerges by breaking this cocoon. After the emergence of mother moth, the cocoons are called as pursed cocoons. They are useless for reeling activity in the silk industry. The silk is separated by cocoons by silk reeling activity. Here the silk reeling is carried out by the weaving activity. Here silk moth. Silk moth is an insect which is concerned to the sericulture, and the silk moths do not feed, and their mouth parts are non-functional, and the wings are flightless organisms. Here if you observe, this is a mother moth which is produced from cocconation stage. After the pupal stage, it becomes like this, and this stage also called as imago stage. Here it is very useful for the reproductive purpose. This mother moth lays 3 to 6 days for completing their reproduction purpose. After the copulation of male and female organisms, the female ones lay eggs. Here in this silk moths are having interesting factors. They're having the mouth parts in the which is not consisting of functional activity, and they are unable to take food consumption, and as well as they are having wings, but they are flightless due to their conditioning. Once the adult moth comes out of the cocoon, it is only purpose to find the member of opposite sex to mate. The male organisms are, after mating, the male organisms get died. Within the 24 hours of mating, the female organisms lays eggs within 1 to 24 hours. One mother moth produces 400 to 500 eggs for one molting. Next, here the mother moth laying eggs on egg cot, and this mother moth is consisting of 3 pairs of legs and 2 pairs of wings. Here the sexes are separated, and it shows sexual dimorphism. Due to sexual dimorphism means the male and female organisms itself, they vary from one to another. Here, sericulture industry. The production of silk from the silkworms by rearing practices, commercial scales, are called as sericulture. We are discussing in previous slides. And some of the important requirements in the sericulture as follows, which means machena, rearing trays. Machena means the proper places for rearing of silkworms, which means it is called as rearing. It is also called as rearing room. And rearing trays. The trays are helpful for the cultivation of this rearing this mulberry silkworms or other silkworms. And third one, spinning. Spinning is an activity which is carried out by the larvae which is ready for the pupation. At that time, charkas are useful for that activity. Dals, the fetching of mulberry leaves, dalas, and the chopping knives. It is useful for the cutting of mulberry leaves into smaller pieces. And the baskets are useful for the collecting the mulberry leaves. Hygrometer means it is a moisture testing machine which useful for obtain the humidity percentage in the atmosphere. Thermometer, it takes the readings for the room temperature. Oven will result in the different stages of life cycles at different temperatures. Freezer will store the eggs for the next generations. And the sericulture opportunities, the sericulture plays a major role in producing employment for the many people. Here in the urban and rural areas, the youth are actively involved in the sericulture, and here the sericulture is plays very contagious role which provides the employment and plays key role in generating the employment and abolish the poverty. It is one of the most profitable activity in rural sectors. It is the availability of indigenous technologies at low cost and regular quick returns are takes place in this sericulture industry, and large demand and popularity of hand woven silk in the west, and the scope of establishing large production units and organizing sector. This silk weaves into the cloths and saris. The India is largest consumers of silk in the world. Here the status of sericulture in northern East India. In India, producing about 35,469 meters of raw silk during the year of 2018 and 19, out of which Erie contributes about 90.5%. In India, contribute more than 99% of total Erie raw silk produced production of country, and Assam alone contributing about 69%. Since the last decade, sensational increases the silk production has been made. Because of this, the global demands due to the thermal property and gaining popularity and gradual expansion of this sericulture will improvise the employment generation. And here here the most of the people from the villages are having the hands-on practice on this sericulture. Here, health hazards of sericulture. Handling the dead worms with bare foods are contributed to the infections and illnesses to the human being. The standing almost about 12 to 16 hours day can lead to the problem of spinal cord and backaches and the problems related to the vision. And the continuous exposure to the noise by spinning and winding machines and looms where other fabrics woven resulting in the hearing problems, and the threats of these silkworms are causes sometimes the lung diseases also. Silk production in India, it is a graphical explanation of the silk highest ranges from 2011 to 2018. It may increases the raw production of silk during these years. The states producing raw silks are observed in here. Here Karnataka producing the 9,823 metric tons of raw silk, and Andhra Pradesh, which means the before the Telangana subtraction, we will get 5,086 metric tons of raw silk, and Assam is consisting of 3,325. West Bengal is consisting of 2,391 metric tons. Jharkhand consisting of 2,284, and Tamil Nadu consisting of 18,096 metric tons, and Meghalaya is consisting of 857 metric tons, and Nagaland is consisting of 631 metric tons, Manipur consisting of 519 metric tons, and Maharashtra is consisting of about 275 metric tons. Here the global production of share is consisting of, here the larger production is China, and it is consisting of 83% and 24% of China, and 1% of Brazil, and other countries are 2%. Okay, the sources takes place from the CSB government of India. Okay, this sericulture industry is mainly run by the textile industry and governance by the Central Ministry of Textiles, and they are produce various type of research activities in the Central Board of Sericulture, and as well as CSB and CSRTI. Thank you one and all for giving me this opportunity for to participate in this seminar. Thank you very much.